Welcome to the Re Godisa Botswana podcast, the podcast that takes a deep dive into the Botswana investment and trade landscape through the BITC lens. Today we have taken it chilled. For the past few weeks, these past few episodes, we've been going deep. We've been unpacking deep technical aspects of exports. We've been looking at trade. We've been looking at investment promotion. We've unpacked the BITC mandate. But today we're taking a more youthful look. BITC is more than just the investment promotion agency of Botswana. It also looks at developing youth. And today we've got one such member of the youth who is in the BITC Brand Management Department as an intern, also part of the National Internship Program, right?
Yes, I am.
We have Mr. Re Bothate. Hi, Re.
Hi, Panalo.
How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I am very good. I'm okay. I think just to get this out of the way, half the time me and you are chuckling. So I'm going to try not chuckle too much today. But I think the importance of having you today is to unpack the youth experience at BITC. On a regular basis, we've got youth coming through BITC in different capacity. We've got interns like yourself. We've got those who come via attachment through UB. And I think it'll be interesting to just know what the internship experience is like. So before we even get there, let's just start with your journey. What have you studied and how did you find yourself here?
Okay, so I am currently the holder of a new media and communications degree.
Okay.
As soon as I graduated from uni, I wanted to take a bit of a breather.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't just chill.
Get beer for who?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So my mom,
yes,
this is she, took me to go. It was still when the internship program was housed under the former MYSC, Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture.
Yes.
HCBD. So
you call it MySec, Lori. MySec. Former MySec. I'm sure everyone is like, what's MYSC? But anyway.
Yes. For MySec. Yeah, I applied and then I was like a bit excited at the same time after applications. I even asked them how long the turnaround time is because now I was starting to get eager to start. Thereafter I got accepted and I got a letter, Bariketla BITC.
Were you nervous?
I was nervous.
Really?
I was.
Why? What were you thinking?
So the thing is, from a uni, you're used to flexible timetables and everything. And now here you are in the concrete jungles of Gaborone.
8 to 5.
8 to 5.
8 to 5, yes.
Yeah. So that 8 to 5, where now there's no free day off.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's no freedom, to say the least.
There's no brunch.
Yeah, there's no brunch.
Time for brunch.
At all.
It? Brunch is coffee. You do have brunch. You have coffee. Mid-morning tea. Have you ever heard of such a thing? Yes. Yeah. So that was how you got here and you were nervous. What happened when you first walked through those doors?
When I first walked in, I didn't do the best research. So I didn't do the best research.
What was your research? I'm curious.
No, just to find out what BITC is about, right?
Okay, yeah. The annual report, basically. That's what I call it. Everybody reads the annual report. Yeah.
So my assumption was we started at 7:30. And I'm an early bird, right?
That was brilliant. Keep that up.
And now people are walking in and out. I'm just that boy, and it was winter at the time. Reception. So yeah, that was the first thing. But people here are warm and friendly. That's one thing I can say.
That was your first impression of it?
Yeah.
Warmth, you found warmth, friendliness?
Yeah, I did.
Really?
Yeah.
And how did you then end up with brand management?
So when you apply for the National Internship Program, you essentially write down your competencies, what you can do based off of what you studied.
Yeah.
So I put public and corporate affairs, communications, corporate comms.
Yeah.
So I'd like to believe that they saw the need that BITC had at the time and matched me to the brand management department.
And what did you do?
So from
I'm waiting to hear this.
Okay. So brand management is split into two units.
Yeah.
There's the Brand Botswana unit and then there's the Public and Corporate Affairs unit.
Yeah.
So as much as I'm housed under the Public and Corporate Affairs unit, there's a bit of Brand Botswana things that I do, such as receiving the Pride Mark application forms.
Yeah.
So my day-to-day is quite interesting because as as much as there's things set for me to do, there are things that just pop up on my table.
Yes.
Yeah. So on a day-to-day, there's a bit of design work that I do. Design being your EOIs, the internal comms platform of Weekly Buzz, a bit of design on that. We also have campaigns like right now, we actually just launched the Re Godisa Botswana campaign, quite some time back we had the launch of the Re Godisa Botswana roadshow. Yeah.
And okay, so what do you do with the Re Godisa Botswana campaign?
It's essentially like the little baby that I birthed. So we started with the campaign strategy, seeing how to do it, working hand in hand with the agency, of course. And we have this platform, which is the podcast. And just essentially what Re Godisa Botswana is showing people what BITC does. That's essentially what it's about, because we're realizing that our numbers on social media weren't doing so well. So now we're trying to actually just get there, get into the streets.
Okay, so that's how you understand it. And tell me, now that you're working on behind the scenes on a campaign like Re Godisa Botswana, have you learned more about BITC? I mean, you came in having only read the annual report. Have you learned more? What have you learned?
I honestly have. I've learned so much that I think if you're to speak about it here, it would take such a long time. But being behind the scenes of this podcast, looking at what people are saying, you actually get to realize that BITC is so much more than what meets the eye. Like what we have on the website annual report, I don't believe is enough, based off of the fact that information is ever changing. We never have a time like I remember when we were doing approvals for the campaign, we needed to go back because
information had changed.
And it was so recent.
I mean, national statistics change as well. I mean, you bring out a very interesting aspect, because we can never just go to public with certain things because the numbers change. And that's why working hand in hand with our research team, which is business intelligence, is so critical, because from the communication aspect, we have to communicate factually. And I'm glad you've learned that. You've picked it up. Now, before you said that you came in, you were shocked at the fact that, you know, your life had to be rigid now, right? You had corporate time. You're a corporate man. How did you adapt?
If you're being honest, I'm still adapting.
How? How long has it been?
I know it's been long, but I'm still adapting to it. I mean, I wouldn't say sleepless nights completely. There are sometimes where you have this thing at the back of your mind. Because of that. But it's honestly, it's time. I mean, I haven't been bad at time management, but it's just that now there's no time to manage.
Really? You're there. Now, if you're there as an intern, goodness, how are you going to be in the future?
It's the same. It's just
juggling a lot of projects.
It's another 40 years.
I don't know how I feel about that. I really don't know how I feel about that. Not really. But anyway, so I was going to ask you what your experience has been like, and I'm not sure if I want to ask that question. But what has your experience been like?
I mean, you've already prompted it. So essentially, my experience has been, I'd say I'd give it an 80%.
Out of
100.
Of what? Yes.
80% being, it's been fruitful. That I won't lie. The whole team, Brand Management and the BITC team, has been quite supportive.
Okay.
I've had times I've needed to ask people for things in order to communicate them out. And certain people don't exactly have time as well, which I also understand.
It's quite a busy work environment, isn't it?
And with me, I just come to the person's office with a smile and a nice wave. And best believe, I get what I need.
I'm laughing because some of our colleagues are giving feedback to say, when you see Lore coming, you just have to, what does he want? What is he coming to get out of me? So it shows that you're persistent. You're quite persistent. And that's something you should hold on to, because in life, you need to get results.
Exactly.
So I'm gathering from this that you're quite results oriented.
I am.
You're quite, and you get your results, don't you?
Yeah, I do. But just to backtrack on my experience so far, I'd say with the brand management team, or specifically our unit, having a manager who understands you, having a director who understands you, and an ED who's youthful and tries to understand you is quite amazing.
I love the tries.
No, the thing is, she does. She does. Like she's on a good 90%.
Okay.
She does understand me 100%, and with that, it just all gels together because we're able to get what we need.
So you're finding this, so this environment works for the person that you are.
It does.
Which brings me to exactly the next question of how would you describe the work culture when you got here, like the work culture, the BITC environment? How would you describe it?
It's a bit detached though attached. And saying it's detached but attached, I know is a contradiction.
Yes.
However, you have people who work together and people who don't. But I see that as the brand management team and the corporate affairs team, we are trying to be the glue of the organization.
Okay.
And backtracking a bit on what I said about my bosses and colleagues, of them understanding, is a thing of, I have crazy thoughts. Like, I'm literally one of the most unhinged people. I have the craziest of thoughts. And they actually go with it. Like, the thing is, it does need a bit of tweaking and filtering and polishing.
Yes.
But it ends up going through. It may have not been my vision, but it ends up happening. And I think that has actually cascaded to higher management. I may be wrong by saying that, but I believe it has. And things just change. I feel like we're now working in synergy.
I think maybe to explain, how do I put this? Lyrically can get me tongue-tied. So this is how it is, right? We take the craziest of your ideas, because like you said, 90% are crazy. And then we make them palatable for the corporate environment. Is that fair?
Yes, it is fair.
The whole team comes together to make it palatable for the corporate world. Because what you come up with, young sir, is something else. But I think, in a sense, the beauty of it is that it also gets the team out of the comfort zone, don't you think?
Yes, it does. It definitely does.
So do you do it intentionally? Or is it just the way your mind works?
I'll say it's my nature. It's the way my mind works.
Really? So, I mean, on the same vein, then one would ask, the kind of support what kind of support have you received ever since you got here? And does it line up with the kind of vision you had for your life? Or are you finding that, yes, I've got the support and it's also steering me to see things differently about where I wanted to go?
I'd go with the latter.
Okay.
Based off of the fact that there's a vision that I had coming in.
Yeah.
And my vision currently has changed from that.
Okay.
And I'd like to believe that it's the professional growth that I've gotten here, where I came in literally from uni.
Yeah.
And here I am,
immediately
8 to 5,
working. Yeah.
immediately working.
Yeah.
So it has changed indeed, and I'd say it's changed for the better.
And in terms of training and other avenues for personal growth, have you had access to that? Is that something you're looking to do? Or are you saying, let me just gel into this experience now, learn as much as I can on the job now, and then I'll see things going forward?
It's a 50-50 because thanks to BITC, they do what's called capacity building. And we've had such programs such as the cybersecurity training and stuff. As much as it's not aligned to my core mandate in BITC, it still grows me professionally. I'm able to have such certifications. So I'd say it's a 50-50 on that of I am doing some trainings, and I mean, being with my team is day-to-day training. Like, as much as I'm here for an internship and I'm supposed to be professional growth, it's more than professional growth. Even things like being able to work together collaboratively. I've now started knowing or learning how to lean more on my team, working together with them. And
I mean, you're still part of the government internship program, and just curious, what kind of support have you gotten from that side? I mean, it's like, it takes a village. This is where we are now. We're dealing with you and the whole village. How the support that side? How are we getting it?
I'll say the support that I got from them was being placed here.
Okay. Yeah.
If I'm being truthfully, brutally unfiltered, that is the truth. The support has been through here. I mean, from time to time, yes, there are emails that they send through, and it's just checking in.
So you're happy that at least they aligned you with what you have studied and what you know. So you're now able to really learn and capitalize on what you've studied.
Exactly.
Now, okay, so speaking of, this keeps popping up in my head and I keep trying to ignore it. Please explain to me what did you say your degree was? New digital media?
New media and communication.
What's the difference? What's new? I mean, we're all doing digital. So when you studied new media, I studied media. So you studied new media. What do you think you've learned that's new and that's different to, let's say, my time? And do not say back then, okay? Just my time. Yes.
Okay, so from your time versus my time.
Okay.
I did not use the words that you said.
Okay, fine.
But looking at it in an unparalleled lens, I'd say that currently what would define as new media is your new media trends, digital trends, as opposed to traditional media, which is your radio, your TV, your newspapers. With us, we're learning your Instagrams, your TikToks, trying to understand the algorithms.
Okay.
Yes.
And in terms of that, I'm curious, where did you study? Where did you do your studies?
I studied in Northern Cyprus.
So Northern Cyprus, and then you came here, right? And you were studying digital media, new media. Now I would have just called it digital, but anyway, new media. How do you see the difference? I mean, Botswana and Cyprus.
Quite honestly, it's there is a huge difference. This is on the academic forefront, right?
Okay. Just even from your digital experience,
it's different. Botswana, we rely so much on Facebook. Hella. Youth are actually trying to infiltrate the TikTok space, which I'm happy for.
Yeah.
But Instagram pages, you don't get many Instagram pages. People are afraid of X, formerly known as Twitter.
Yeah.
That's just that. With us, we learned that, and also the trends, your whole digital marketing, the whole bombarding of things. I remember there was a time where we were in a departmental meeting and certain terminologies that my manager was shocked at.
From exposing some of these things.
I'm just going to say the word. I'm not going to say who.
Yes.
It was breadcrumbing, and
what's breadcrumbing?
It's a marketing gimmick where you literally give a bit of information that would want people to have more. It's that small. It's like small things like that. Like I'd realize that as much as most of my team I'd like to believe has done communication, it's a parallel difference of.
Isn't that a generational difference?
Yeah, thank the Lord you said the word.
No, but you know what it is. That is why, you know, we would appreciate having different generations, especially in an area like communication, because different generations tend to communicate differently.
Exactly.
That's why you have got your Gen X, your millennials, your boomers, Gen X, millennials, Gen Z, and I believe Gen Alpha is coming through as well. And you would be a Gen Z.
Yes.
You're Gen Z, right?
Yes,
Don't you dare say you're a millennial. Okay, so you're Gen Z. So that means that, you know, your communication is different from Gen Alpha. And I do recall a time when you were saying that we use too much WhatsApp, as in here. And in your world, it's streaking.
Snapchat streaking.
So you're streaking on Snapchat, right?
Yes.
And then I've noticed that you would use Instagram. What's wrong with WhatsApp in your world?
I wouldn't say there's anything wrong with WhatsApp. I just feel like it's a bit outdated.
It keeps okay.
No, yes, you are right. It keeps on increasing. Like there's now music on the statuses, and that it is. But WhatsApp is a bit too, for lack of a better word, I'd say private. Which, of course, your generation and generations above you would love that.
Oh, Lord.
With us, I believe we're social beings. Like, as much as you guys are social beings, 100%, we are more social beings. Like, I'll say that we live on the validation of the public, which may or may not affect us mentally.
You live on the validation of the public through mediums, but without interacting physically.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
So now you need all these different platforms. So at any given time, there has to be a notification coming into your phone. That is how it is. But then now, just throwing it out at you, because you're a comms person, how then would you do just a short campaign just targeting your generation? What platforms would you focus on?
TikTok, Instagram, and X.
That's it.
Yeah.
You didn't even mention Facebook.
What's that?
I was going to ask, do you even have a Facebook account? But I think that has kind of answered itself.
No, I do.
You do?
I do.
Instagram?
Yes, I do.
But you don't consider them in terms of the Gen Z age group? You're not there. You guys are not on the Instagram and Facebook space.
No, on the Facebook space. We're not as much on the Facebook space.
What's
We're more
wrong with
Instagram.
Facebook? I mean, I have my personal views, but what's wrong with Facebook?
Facebook is old school.
How? this is an interesting conversation between two generations in the com space. In what sense?
Facebook, happy birthday.
Don't you put happy birthday on Twitter, for my ex, formerly known as Twitter? Don't you put happy birthday on Instagram,
but
TikTok?
That's you putting it there. Like, it's my birthday, balloons on my profile type of thing. And it's not a thing where Facebook sends a notification, it's Bonalo Tumelo's birthday. No. Facebook does that, but the others don't.
Really?
The only thing that X does is shows you balloons when you're scrolling past someone who says it's my birthday. Instagram,
so are you then saying you don't care about somebody's birthday? So what then are you interested in? Like, for you to dismiss Facebook saying it is old school just because it tells you it's somebody's birthday, I'm actually affected by that. For you to dismiss it for such reasons, are you then saying your generation doesn't care much about that?
No, we do care about that. Like, I'd like to believe we're more emotionally sensitive than you guys are. 1,000%. So
I'm staying neutral in that one. Okay.
But in that being said,
yes,
we expect you to know our birthdays off by heart, not getting a notification from Facebook. So you posting me and tagging me on my birthday has more of an effect than you putting it on my timeline, happy birthday, based off of the fact that Facebook reminded you it's my birthday.
We are from the generation that had to cram phone numbers.
So
you do know that, right? I know my parents' landline number off by heart. Do you know the landlines?
Yes, I do.
So how are you judging or doubting that we would remember things like birthdays?
The intergenerational gap.
Yes.
Is a gap so big that I don't want to offend anyone.
You're caught to it, but anyway.
But that forgetting is now a norm, generationing, essentially from the upper millennials going up to the Gen X's and boomers and all of that.
Yeah.
So there are certain things that would be easily rememberable, but
wow.
Yeah.
I don't think it's okay. I'll hold it in. But this is fascinating for me because as a communication person, and you're an upcoming communication expert as well, do you see the differences that we play in terms of what considerations now have to come into play in terms of how we communicate with different people? And it was fascinating picking your brains. I should do that more often. Now, in terms of looking forward for yourself, I mean, you're still at entry level, you've got your long journey ahead, and I would like to believe BITC is now having an impact on how you're planning the journey. What opportunities do you see for yourself?
I see a lot. I'd like to think of myself as a disruptor and a change maker.
Mm-hmm.
And this is in the positive light. I know people are like disruptors, but that was saying,
isn't that what the word means?
It is, but from the comms and marketing space, you need to understand that disruption is actually good.
It is.
We're changing the mindset.
It is.
We're literally getting into different things. We're already currently right now, AI has started taking transformation in various organizations and different things. So currently digital transformation, and we're in the digital industrial revolution essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like to believe that I see myself there. I'd like to believe I'm already there as is.
As a disruptor.
I'm starting.
Okay, so now let's bring it back to normal corporate speak. Disruptor, yes, as what? Where do you want to go? Do you want to get full on into the corporate space? Do you want to go deep into the digital space? Are you seeing these pathways?
I am seeing these pathways, and I'd like to believe currently as is, we've merged the two.
Truthfully, yes. So they're coming together very quickly.
They are. So I see myself still, the two, still merged together.
Yeah.
But of course, rising through the ranks.
You think corporate life is for you, just from the experience that you've had?
Yes. I'm saying yes like that because it is. It is. It is. But at the same time, I see myself also freelancing. That's why I'm like, yes, but I'm hesitatingly.
Really?
Yeah.
So you think, which is the hard part? The rigidity?
It is.
Because you make it sound so rigid. Some of us are used to it. You make it sound so rigid. But is it really though?
It is rigid. The thing is, I'm coming in with plus minus a year of experience, and you're coming in with years of experience, and your years of experience is literally the 7:30 to 4:30, 8 to 5. That strict, rigid program. With us, with Gen Zs or millennials, we want a bit of 50-50, a bit of working from home here, a bit of this and that. guys. We're just
Who said you guys were?
The thing,
you're like too sensitive. You're right. Nobody said Gen Z is lazy.
No, the thing is, I'd like to believe it's a common belief that Gen Zs are lazy, just because we take, like, as much as, yes, I actually do play on one of our values, which is agility. I try and do things as soon as I get them, not to have anything behind my back.
Yes.
But with that being said, I know that people work at different paces, and with that, it's not that or what. It's a thing of you're finding your working mode.
Yes.
And it's a thing of, what if I only defrost at 10, but I'm supposed to start at 8?
There's a term for that. There are morning people and there are afternoon people. There's some people who really, between 8 and 10 or 11, they're shooting, afternoon gone. And then there are those people that morning, oh my gosh, don't even say hello to them. They can't operate. But come afternoon, evening, they're at it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I'm a morning person. And I know, because come 3 p.m., that's it, lights out. And I have to find a way to get myself going again, because I have a day and I have to be productive about it. Do you see what I mean? Yes, there's a term for some of these things, you know?
Another thing is, guys.
Who?
Now we just
Gen Z, your generation.
Yeah. As much as we're very social, this thing of coming to the office every day is just a bit like, it's socially draining. Of course, Kitiro, but it is socially draining.
You know, the funny thing is, I was actually about to bring this to an end, but you brought something. There was a study, apparently there's a study that your generation, Gen Z, is uncomfortable making phone calls. Phone calls. You guys, you can't spend all this time on a device that you can't fully utilize. It's a phone. Okay, but I was actually thinking about that when you say let's about to say, really? I actually dismissed that. I thought it was just one of those things that fly around on the internet. So are you saying that there's an element of truth to that?
There is. Even with me personally.
Wow. Okay, on that bombshell, what message or piece of advice do you think can give your age mates, those who are entering, the work environment, anything you want to say?
What I'd say is, guys, apply for those jobs, apply for those internships, and most importantly, once you get there, I feel like I started off with imposter syndrome.
Oh.
It's a thing.
Oh.
It doesn't last long, but it is there.
Please stop dropping bombs, because now I want to ask you about the imposter syndrome.
So, it does happen, but one thing that you need to do when you get wherever you get, it doesn't matter with who, network and make connections. Okay. Your network is your net worth.
Okay. Yeah. I am not going to take from that. I'm trying hard not to ask about the imposter syndrome. I won't. But I think everybody knows what imposter syndrome is, and I hope you're over it.
Yeah.
Because I think you're doing a very good job, and you do have a very bright path ahead of you. I happen to work with you quite a lot, and I will give you that feedback to say you've got a very bright path in front of you. Just don't kill it with the many bright ideas going forward. And that was a future youthful look of BITC, a very youthful side of BITC. We'd like to say BITC has got a young, vibrant work team basically. But Lori takes it to another level, and we do appreciate the youthful energy that comes every single year with the new interns that join us. And under BITC, we really do hope that more and more students can come and learn as the future, so that our country's investment and trade landscape keeps growing and it gets better and better going forward. Thank you, Lori, for coming through. And that was Re Godisa Botswana podcast for today. You can follow BITC on the different social media platforms. On Facebook is Botswana Investment and Trade Center. On X, formerly known as Twitter, it's go_Botswana1. And on Instagram, it's go Botswana1. Thank you very much. We'll see each other next week.